Steelers Nation, what is going on? This is episode 94 of the Steelers Culture Podcast, where we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football. And this episode is powered by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
And I'm just going to flat out say it right here, right now. We need to start Zach Frazier. Mike Tomlin needs to stop delaying the inevitable.
You're just jumping right into it.
He needs to stop delaying the long-term vision. He needs to stop holding back on playing his rookies. It's been a constant issue for a long time. Well, the fact that he has invested a lot into the line the past 2 years, especially heavily into the draft this year, drafting 3 guys, triple dipping in the O-line, 2 of them that should start day one, just play the rookies. So it's one of those things where he makes things a lot harder than it should be. It's one of the negatives about Mike Tomlin is just play your rookies. There's a reason you drafted them. There's a reason they played however many years at that position, like Zach Frazier, the most pure center to come out of college in this previous draft class. And he didn't get any first-team reps at all at center throughout training camp.
At least not yet.
That could change in the final week of training camp this upcoming week. Fingers crossed, and the fact that training camp, preseason just started and we're still days away from the first game versus the Texans, that will increase players' reps. That will increase opportunities for a lot of guys. One of them should absolutely be Zach Frazier. He should be the starting center. We all know this, okay? The fact that they have Nate Herbig getting first-team reps or the majority of first-team reps is just a slow process on Zach Frazier's development. Why are you putting someone that has 49 career center snaps as your starting center right now?
Somebody that they're pretty much putting out of position. Now, Herbig is very familiar playing interiorly, but he's primarily that swing guard type of player. He's not a pure center. He has very, very minimal reps there. And when it comes to snapping the football, he doesn't have much experience doing that just as much.
No,
and that can play a big part. And we should know this, seeing Mason Cole and Kendrick Green snapping the football.
Yes.
When they weren't natural centers.
And that
is a problem.
And one thing I noticed about Zach Frazier is he had 0 snap issues. 0.
Gee, I wonder why. Maybe because he's a natural center. He's been doing this for the majority of his football career.
Probably because we finally have someone there on the offensive line that can play one sole position rather than, hey, you can play all 5 if we need you to. Just put guys in their natural position. It's not that hard, okay? They're doing the same thing with Broderick Jones. They're trying to put him at left, trying to put him at right, and the fact that Fautanu is recovering from a minor MCL sprain after the Texans preseason game, that could mean more right tackle snaps for Broderick Jones, which means, unfortunately, more left tackle snaps for Dan Moore. But the fact that Troy Fautanu only suffered a minor MCL sprain is a good thing. He shouldn't be out long. We'll see what his prognosis really is in the next coming days in terms of his performance, in terms of his snaps, in terms of his playing time. And camp and what that could hold for the next preseason game. But thank God he's not suffering a more severe injury, and he should still be ready to go by the end of preseason, of course, week 1, because he should still be the week 1 starting right tackle, as should Zach Frazier be the week 1 starting center, as should Broderick Jones be the week 1 starting left tackle. Just put these guys where they perform best, where they are comfortable. They have said it all offseason. I'm more comfortable with this. I'm more comfortable with that. Work to your players' strengths. Let's not make this hard. Let's not delay the long-term vision. We know what the dream offensive line is. There's a reason you have invested in a line for the past 2 years now, building it from what was an abomination for years. Put these guys where they should be, and let's get going with the future of the offensive line.
Yeah, there's no need to wait. There's no need to be so stubborn about it. You might as well go full throttle with it. That's the plan. That is what is bound to happen, bound to be. That's what it should be.
Yes.
The fact that they're doing this and they're dipping their feet into the kiddie pool instead of just dumping right into the deep end. Just do that. Yeah, it's as simple as because these guys had high draft projections and high freaking potential. There's a reason why you brought him in, why you selected them. You had Troy Fautanu as your second best tackle outside of Joe Alt. He fell all the way to 20. You selected him. You scouted Broderick Jones last year as a left tackle. And Zach Frazier was the most pure center that you could have selected.
Yes.
And you selected him with the second-round pick. Thank goodness. But you're stubborn to put them in their natural positions. You're stubborn to just wait on molding this offensive line and what it should be.
Yeah, like I said, delaying the inevitable. It's just one of those things where it's a big question mark. So the fact that we are now one preseason game in, hopefully this will encourage Tomlin to actually make the proper decisions and make the proper calls, which there's a reason why after the first two muffed snaps from Nate Herbig and Justin Fields, there's a reason Zach Frazier got the majority of the center time later on to the game. And it's not just because it's preseason and he's going to get a lot of the time over the first team guys such as Nate Herbig and guys like that, but there's a reason why Nate Herbig's playing time was minimal. Cut a little bit.
It was minimal.
Limited.
He only had 9 snaps at center.
9 snaps compared to Zach Frazier's 39. And in 39 snaps, the guy didn't allow one single pressure. In 18 pass blocking snaps, he allowed 0 pressures. 0. And in the run department, in the run blocking, he had himself a very good grade, and you can see in the clips here, he's a guy that will work in the double team, he'll work the double block, and work into the second level, helping the running back. He is very, very good in space. He works very well in space because of his athleticism, and of course that wrestling background benefits him and the Steelers a lot. And you'll notice, like, right at the line of scrimmage, he's not getting pushed back, which is, I know, a rarity for Steelers fans. He's not getting bullied, he's not getting overpowered. He's keeping his ground, good pad level. He's putting guys on the ground. Like, this is a guy that just start him already. Like, you see the clips there. Just start him. Stop delaying the inevitable.
Everything that we scouted, everything that they scouted for Zach Frazier and what he was capable of doing back in college, and now that is translating over to the preseason games, that's translating over to the NFL level. That's exactly what you wanted. I would say first preseason game, Zach Frazier passed with all flying colors.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Zach
Zero
Frazier.
issue, zero problem with Zach Frazier when he stepped in at center for the offensive line.
Yeah.
This should give the Steelers, or this should allow the Steelers to give Zach Frazier an opportunity to work with the first team, and not only training camp, but for the upcoming preseason games.
Absolutely.
Give him that opportunity, give him that chance. My worry is that they're just going to keep going with Nate Herbig because he's a veteran.
And what's going to be more testing for Zach Frazier is he'll be going up against first team defenders. Once he starts getting more playing time in preseason, he'll be snapping the football to Russell Wilson. He'll be snapping the football more to Justin Fields, which is obviously going to be making him comfortable at the center position. That's going to make our quarterbacks comfortable with the guy under center, with the guy snapping them the football. And that's going to give Zach Frazier more reps against, like I said, starting defensive linemen around the league. That's going to make him better, and that's just going to give us a better glimpse at what kind of center we really have. So play Zach Frazier. And in regards to Troy Fautanu, again, thank God he didn't suffer a more significant injury. It's minor. It's a minor MCL sprain. He could be out a week or so. We'll see how the Steelers lean him back into work. But what I saw from him at right tackle wasn't good. Maybe the injury hindered his performance. We don't know exactly where or when the injury occurred. But, you know, he allowed 2 sacks. Again, nothing to overreact about. It's just one of those things where welcome to the NFL, and you know, it's just learning curves for a guy like him.
Yeah, all 25 of his snaps were over at right tackle, but it was a very rough start, a rough first game for Troy Fautanu. Again, nothing to panic, nothing to overreact about. He'll learn from his mistakes. He's that type of guy. He's that type of player. And yes, the injury, thank goodness it's not severe.
But my concern now, because of the injury, is they might limit a guy like Fautanu. First of all, they already limit their rookies. But now because he's hurt, they might limit him even more, which means Broderick Jones is going to go right back to right tackle. And you already know who's starting at left tackle because of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But once Fautanu is ready to go, and if he is ready to go, yeah, you keep him at right tackle and you keep Broderick Jones at left tackle. I thought Broderick Jones was solid at left tackle. I thought he was good. I thought he worked the edge very well. I thought he would work in the pass pro well. Obviously, his run blocking is his best department. That's his best ability. So
yeah, and Broderick had a lot of playing time.
42 snaps.
Yeah.
In fact, that's tied with Spencer Anderson with the most snaps played by an offensive lineman. And Spencer Anderson looked good, man, because he got first-team reps at left guard. And then he would shift over to right guard when Mason McCormick would come in and play left guard.
Yeah.
And Spencer Anderson was probably the highest-graded offensive lineman out of that entire game, over Zach Frazier. So that goes to tell you, man, Spencer Anderson didn't play at all in his rookie year. He redshirted. He was at every game inactive. But what we saw from him was some promise, was some growth, and what we could see is this is a guy that could be a very dependable and versatile depth guy. And I like to see that. He's getting a lot of first-team reps because Sayamalu was inactive. He was out versus the Texans. He's been getting a lot of rest days because he's a veteran. That means more opportunity for Anderson, and he's really working it. He's really doing good. So a guy like him stepping up where he needs to, that's good, especially for a 7th-round pick last year.
Yeah.
Good signs from him. Very good signs from him. But yeah, Broderick Jones, both played 42 snaps. That's the most snaps from any Steelers lineman, followed by Zach Frazier at 39, followed by Mason McCormick at 33, followed by Troy Fautanu at 25. So just keep playing these guys. They're only going to get better. And frankly, that is the future of this line. You see growth from Spencer Anderson. He could be a future starter. He could be a significant depth piece. Broderick Jones, future left tackle. Zach Frazier, future center. Mason McCormick, probably a future starter because we don't know what the future holds for a guy like James Daniels or Sayamalu. Troy Fautanu, starting right tackle. The more these guys play and the more they play together on the same line, the better they're going to grow, the better offensive line's going to go, and we can see a full vision of what the line's going to look like.
And a lot of that pairing, that's a lot of youth right there.
Yes, it is.
A lot of young studs, a lot of youth. Yes, a lot of versatility, but you put these guys in their primary positions, their best positions. That's where they're going to stand out the most. Just like Spencer Anderson. I believe he was mainly a right guard. He played the majority at right guard, and he was very good at that too.
Yeah. So, and what's great about that is, like, these are guys that were drafted this year and last year. Like, these are first and second year guys.
This is a lot of investment in the offensive line. Omar Khan and Tomlin knows what they're trying to do. They're trying to grow the depth. They're trying to grow the starters. They're trying to grow the foundation of that offense, which is the offensive line.
Yes.
It's just a matter of them having to put these guys where they need to be.
Yeah, just
that's the frustrating part, and it always will be.
It's just simply as this. Just play them at their natural position and let them work. Let them grow, let them eat. They will benefit you in the long run. I am very confident in that because we got some dogs, we got some maulers on that line. We already know the mentality Fautanu has. We've seen the clips from Zach Frazier. We know exactly what type of center we can get from him, man, which is very Steeler-like. We know what Broderick Jones can do with his athleticism. We know the type of player Mason McCormick is. We know what type of strength he holds. Same thing with Spencer Anderson. Guys like that, man. And of course, you know, Anderson and McCormick, they're going to be depth pieces at the guard positions because Sayamalu and Daniels are still here, at least for now. We don't know what the future holds for them, but that's even greater. So just keep playing these guys in the preseason, and we can still see some substantial success from the offensive line.
You know, let's just see them grow the chemistry. Let's just see them grow as linemen on the field. Let's just see them continue to work on their craft.
Yeah, I think it's incredible, but it's just simple as this, man. And you know how last year we had like a start Mason sign, we had a bench Wallace sign, we had all that stuff, right? At this point, man, if Tomlin doesn't make the proper decision, we're about to put a start Frazier sign on the fucking wall. I swear to God, swear jar.
But quickly, guys, before we continue on with the Steeler Culture Podcast episode, I want to give a huge thank you, a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, BetUS.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
Shout out to Steeler legend Michael Vick for that, man. 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000, man. Click the link in the description below, as well as pinned at the top of the comment section to sign up for BetUS today. And today we're going to look at some of the betting lines for the player stats in regards to rushing yards, because since the topic of today's episode is mostly the offensive line, and the Steelers are still a very run-first team, and we know what we can do in that department, we're going to look at some of the rushing yard odds for... I mean, you see rushing odds for Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Anthony Richardson, Bijan Robinson, all these guys. But, you know, we're going to look particularly for the Steelers. So Jaylen Warren's odds right here, his odds are over or under 600 yards. His odds for over are even. Now, Jaylen Warren is a wrecking ball. He is a cannonball, really ready to be shot out at any moment. He's just explosive. So I really like those odds, over 600 yards for a guy like Jaylen Warren. I would absolutely look into that. And you look at Najee Harris. We're talking about a player who has had 1,000 yards the past 3 seasons, man. His over-under is 825 rushing yards. Now, if he stays healthy and we continue to use Najee and Warren the way we've been using them, yeah, I think I feel confident in betting the over for that as well. Or unless, of course, you think that he could get the under, you can very well bet that as well. The odds are very even at minus 115. But, I mean, I think those odds are both great. I think those are both very likable odds for you to bet on if you guys want to look into that for Najee and Warren. So for Najee, or for Warren here, again, his odds are even. So whatever you bet, let's say we bet 50, we can win another 50. For Najee. I mean, you're gonna have to offer a little more to get a decent amount. But if you feel confident Najee's gonna have a really explosive year, if you really think that Najee is going to play with a chip on his shoulder and he's looking lighter, he's looking a little more explosive, you could really put a decent amount up here. So I'm gonna put 50 for example. You can win another 43, 48 right there if you guys wanted to. So definitely check out BetUS. Click the link in the description box below, as well as pinned at the top of the comment section. Huge shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's podcast episode. Just please gamble responsibly. Now, moving on, man. I want to talk about Justin Fields a little bit because, there was not a lot to judge regarding Justin Fields, and we still don't know what the future holds for the quarterback position when it regards week 1. So I was disappointed in the fact that Justin Fields didn't get enough playing time. I think we both agree on that.
Yeah, he only played one quarter, only had about, 5 for 6, 67 yards in that one quarter.
He only played 17 snaps.
Yeah, that, considering the fact that he is projected to be the backup for Russell Wilson.
Or could be the projected starter.
Yeah. Nonetheless, in this quarterback competition that Tomlin admitted is an open competition, you would think that Tomlin and the Steelers would want to play Justin Fields as much as possible. Instead, we only saw one quarter of him, and the rest of the Texans game, we saw three quarters of Kyle Allen.
Yeah, which makes me wonder why didn't they just split the game? Why didn't Fields just get the entire first half and Kyle Allen gets the entire second half? Maybe it was due to Justin Fields' 2 fumbles, which you could blame on the center, you could blame on Fields. The fact is he was under center, the ball hit him in the hands, and it just seems like his fumbling, his ball control is still an issue. He's had, damn near 40 fumbles in his time in Chicago, and the first 2 drives that he led the Steelers in his first game as a Steeler, and there were 2 fumbles on back-to-back drives.
It's not what you want to see.
It's exactly not what you want to see. And all I kept seeing from Chicago fans is, wow, first experience with Justin Fields. I'm like, wow, that's not a good sign right there.
No, it's not.
Now,
and if it's a discipline kind of thing that Tomlin wants to throw at Fields, from that mindset, I can understand. I really could.
Right.
But still, the fact of the matter that maybe we should see a little bit more of Fields, see if he can clean up those mistakes, if he can still go out there and make the plays that he has been in training camp.
Right.
That might just be me, but considering that, yes, this is an open competition, you would want to see a bit more of Fields. Now my worry is Russell Wilson. I anticipate him playing in the next 2 preseason games if he recovers enough from his calf injury.
right.
What's going to be the reps for Justin Fields now?
Yeah, what's the quarterback split going to look like? If I had to give you a prediction, I would think Russell Wilson plays 1 quarter, very similar to what Fields got. Then Fields would play the next quarter and a half, and then Kyle Allen would play the rest. That very well could be their formula. Unless it very well depends. Maybe Russell Wilson doesn't play versus the Bills on Saturday night. That could very well happen. Russell Wilson just could not play for a second straight game.
Might happen.
And then in that case, yeah, we're going to see more Fields and Allen, which means we should see a lot more time for Fields, particularly the entire first half, which will most likely be the case. But, we'll see what Tomlin says in this next week as, he'll have his Tomlin press conference where he'll announce who will play a certain amount of snaps. If Russell Wilson will play, that's going to be the biggest question mark, because if Russell Wilson does play, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Justin Fields' participation is, because it won't necessarily be with the entire first team, and that means he'll have to continue to play against, second team guys, or he'll have to play with second team guys, which, he's played with them throughout all the training camp. He's had variations of an offensive line. He's had variations of receivers. So it's nothing that he's not familiar with. It's just one of those things where you want to see him with the first team. You want to see him against first team defenses just to see what we could truly see from Justin Fields. But in the time he played, yeah, the fumbling was a concern, and perhaps maybe that is mostly a center issue, but I still blame it on both because, again, Nate Herbig's not a natural center, and when Frazier came in, there was no issues such as that. And Fields, suffering those 2 fumbles, did recover and had no issues with Frazier when he did play with Frazier for, 8 snaps maybe? Because, like we said, Nate Herbig played, 9 snaps, and out of the 17 that Justin Fields played, he played 8 snaps with Zack Frasier.
Yeah.
So it's probably still just mostly comfortability, but outside of that, the way he looked in the pocket, the way he made his throws, it was nothing mind-blowing. It was nothing crazy. His dot to Van Jefferson was really the only massive takeaway of that. I wouldn't even call it massive at that. It was just a takeaway. Nice dot. What that looked like to me, more so not just from Fields, but more so of what we could see from the entire offense, because we got to see more of that throughout the game with Kyle Allen. Shots down the field, middle of the field usage, just deep throwing, deep ball shots, 20 yards down the field, using the majority of the area that Steelers are not used to using.
A lot of aggressiveness on the offense, something that you want to see, something that I'm very glad to see, and I hope to see more of.
But yeah, and with more playing time, Justin Fields will be able to show us more of that.
Yeah,
especially maybe Roman Wilson plays. Maybe not this week, but could be the final week of preseason. We could see more of that.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. But, yeah, in regards to that, I'm hoping Fields gets more playing time, as he should, because we need to see as much as we can before week 1. Otherwise, who knows how much time Russell Wilson's going to get. Maybe he doesn't play this game. He might play the final preseason game. And I know Tomlin said he's not worried about the lack of reps from Russell Wilson because he's a veteran. He's been around. He knows how to just rehab himself. He knows how to prepare himself for situations like this. But the lack of reps that Russell Wilson has gotten, not just in training camp, but preseason, and he could still be the starter, that he says he's not concerned, but that's a concern to me personally. So with Justin Fields, just give him the majority of the reps or as much reps as possible just to get him prepared, because who knows, he might be the starter. And if you have someone that is ready, if you have someone that has the chemistry and someone that can give the ball to your targets, that might give Tom an indication to give a guy like Justin Fields the starting job.
Yeah, just truly treat this as a quarterback competition. Give both of these guys fair amount of reps, an even split. Just give them that opportunity. Give them that chance.
Yeah.
Have an even split for these guys. Just see what you got right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what Tomlin says this upcoming week in regards to his press conference and what that will mean for the next preseason game, as the Steelers will finish training camp, the 2024 training camp, this week. So we'll see what the participation is for a lot of these guys, mostly with the offensive line and mostly with a guy like Justin Fields.
Just see how these guys can grow and, what they can do.
Right. So let us know how you guys feel in the comments below, man. How you guys feel about the offensive line? Who impressed you the most in the offensive line Friday night versus the Texans, man? And how do you guys feel about Justin Fields? And tell us what you guys think. Tell us what you guys are thinking in regards to the next preseason game, what you guys want to see and what you guys are hoping to see. So, again, huge shout out to BetUS for powering today's podcast episode. Hit the link in the description below, as well as pin at the top of the comment section, and take advantage of that $125 deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000, man. So shout out to them for partnering with us this season. So thanks for that, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you later. Peace!